Welcome to the 5 Steps of Teaming. I'm Mary Ellen Chevalier and happy to introduce to you the 5 Steps of Teaming developed by Shevalier, copywritten 1994. For our overview, I'm using Prezi.com to create this mind map for our 5 Steps of Teaming. Notice that the central idea to teaming is all about respect. A mind map is simply a way of taking notes using visual images. Mind mapping encourages brainstorming and associative thinking skills. Indeed, respecting one another, particularly respecting our differences, is essential to good teaming. This teaming process is set up for transparency and accountability. I encourage you to begin your teaming process with trust that your fellow teammates also want to do a good job. Before we go into the details of this mind map, it will be good to know that teams will be expected to reach agreement by consensus. Consensus is a dialogue that you have until you reach compromise or agreement. Sometimes team members have to agree to disagree, and this is when the dialogue reaches the compromise. A few other expectations that are worth mentioning and repeating would be: teams will choose roles between facilitators, recorder, reporter, or timekeeper. When working together, teams are expected to face one another, preferably in a round circle. This is to improve attentiveness and listening skills. Ground rules will be established for behavior and work expectations. It's important that all team members realize that consistent assessment will take place. Pre, during, and post-assessments will be taken on yourself and your teammates. Transparency, honesty, and probably humility are 3 great qualities to have to be a good team member. These qualities and regular assessments will ensure accountability and fairness. The 5 steps of teaming. The central theme: trust and respect. Trust that they want success. Trust that your fellow team members also want a good experience. Be sensitive to our differences in learning styles and our differences in opinion. Show respect to one another, particularly respect for our differences. Learn to embrace your differences in your strengths and your weaknesses. It's these very differences that will create a strong team. Let's begin! Teaming roles describe the different tasks you'll have as a team member. Team facilitator. Notice that the team is sitting in a circle. The facilitator is someone who will keep the dialogue going amongst the team members. A good facilitator is not a power tripper. They do not power over anybody on the team, but rather they consistently go from person to person around the circle to gain input from each team member. A facilitator will keep everybody on task. It's easy to get off task and onto a different conversation. The facilitator will gently and consistently remind the team members to come back onto task. The facilitator will also encourage participation from each and every member. Although it's each team member's responsibility to contribute, the facilitator can encourage contributions through probing questions. The facilitator may ask other team members to encourage one another through probing questions, to encourage dialogue and contribution. The next role is that of a recorder. The recorder is the person who documents the minutes or the dialogue that's happening at the team meeting. Again, take notice of the round circle, round table approach. It's not the natural way that we dialogue, but this method pays off. It encourages that each participant is going to contribute. It's consistent, and you know when your turn is coming so that you can be better prepared. Although not a natural way of dialogue, it helps to ensure fluid conversation, and it helps also to encourage that everyone gives contribution. Recorders often summarize and consolidate the information. Recorders can use whatever recording method is easiest for their learning style. Some people are more comfortable using the computer or iPad, while others are more comfortable in writing notes. It is helpful, however, for the recorder and the team to think about how these notes will be shared. The next role is the timekeeper. May be asked to monitor how much time per person as they go round circle for their contributions. Some people think that being a timekeeper might be one of the easier jobs, but in fact, to stay aware of the dialogue and yet separate yourself enough to keep track of time is not always that easy. Good timekeepers often give a 1 or 2 minute warning before the team's time is up. With the help of technology, setting a soft alarm timing system is often helpful. The final role is that of a reporter. Sometimes a reporter is asked to recap for the entire team. The reporter's job is to summarize or paraphrase or give out the information that has been discussed. Other times, it may be the teacher or a supervisor that the reporter is giving the information to. A good reporter will do their best to speak loudly and clearly so that everyone can hear. Most often, it is asked of the reporter to give a report out to the class. When asked to report out to a group that's larger than your own team, it's a good professional practice to stand up and speak loudly and clearly.